Peace and blessing, everybody. Welcome to a new hijab tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do this slightly cyberpunk-ish style. Now, if some of you may have seen already, I actually just moved to a new town, but actually what some of you might not know is that this new town is actually where I graduated from high school. And the funny thing is, in high school I used to be goth. So this kind of inspired me to try and find a goth punk-ish style that I could do, because why not? And so I just decided to kind of go with this a little bit crazier style, but I just thought it was going to be fun to do. As you can see, I have a crazy cyberpunk makeup that I haven't done in well over a decade, and probably shouldn't have done anyway, because really I can't pull it off anymore. But that's not the point. The point is, you can! So just stay tuned, I'll be showing you how to do this. Peace and blessing. Peace and blessing, everybody. So to get started, I'm wearing a ninja underscarf. This one is actually from Alcamar. As you can see, it covers all of the head, all the hair, and some of the chest. This part is actually tucked in the first part of my video, which is why you don't see it as well, but I wanted to show you guys what it looks like. Then you're going to be needing a large square scarf. This one is from a Ottawa local store called Mona Lisa. I've also used it in a fancier video that I had, another tutorial, so go check that out as well. So to get started, just fold it in two, take the straight edge, and pull it at the back of your neck. Now the looser you leave this part, the actual better it's going to be. Just fold it all the way to the front. The reason it's actually better if you leave it a little bit loose is that it's actually not going to try and pull back and actually show a lot of your hair. So, actually, turned out to be better to leave it a little bit looser, especially if you have a ninja underscarf, in which case you have to worry a little bit less about coverage. So as you can see, I folded it and pinned it. I used one of these, which is a hijab safety pin. Love those. If you don't have any, please procure yourselves with some. It's absolutely amazing and avoids a lot of damage to the scarves. So as you can see, if you pull it on the edge a little bit, you have three distinct edges. So what you're going to do at this point is try and braid it as well as you can. As you can see, I'm just braiding all the way down. I'm braiding it all the way down as much as possible, but you don't have to braid it quite as long. You can use it much shorter if you want to as well. I'm going to be using a hijab safety pin that I just showed you, just to keep it at the edge. But you can easily use a barrette or another kind of hair clip. I'm just trying to keep it neat for now. I'm going to be clipping it differently later anyway. So here you have like a bunch happening, a little bit of a bundle. It's kind of interesting. I'm just going to pull it all the way down where I want it to be. You can secure it with pins if you really want to, but honestly, if you left it a little bit loose, it shouldn't have a problem to actually stay in place. Oddly enough, it works better that way. What you're going to do is like pull these edges a little bit more in. I'm going to be securing them with just straight pins. Very straight pins. I'm actually securing both sides separately, simply because one, it's easier, and two, because it actually winds up looking better. So then you pull it back, and it will give you this really nice poof. You can, of course, like pull it in even a little bit further if you want a little bit narrower a section, which is what I'm going to be doing. Alright, so now the next part is the tricky part, where you're going to try and keep the whole thing very neat and straight, which I'm lucky enough to have a mirror in the back and a mirror in the front. But if you're doing this on your own, you might have a little bit of a harder time. As you can see, I'm just pulling it in place because once I pin it in place, it's going to be harder to move. So just make sure. As you can see, I'm looking in the back as well so that it's straightened out. I have at the very, like right here, this is where I did my ponytail, so I kind of want the pin to just go right on top of where my hair is actually held so that it doesn't show as much that I have my hair right there. So I'm going to start by pinning it just at the bottom here onto the scarf. What I'm going to do is do a weave. Now I'm going to show you on my sleeve because it's going to be a little bit hard to see once I'm actually trying it on the scarf. So what you do is you pin in, out, in, and out, and it's going to create a weave. I'll show you really close by. As you can see, like, the needle's going in, out, and I'm going to do that with pulling both layers together. There you go. So that actually has pinned the bottom part. You can pin it all throughout if you really feel like it. Because I'm not wearing it out right now, I'm actually just gonna pin it at the bottom because I don't feel like it requires as much pinning right now. So I'm just weaving at the very back. If you can see in the mirror, actually it might be easier to see, but at the very back right here. To be quite honest, that's where I have the safety pin. You can take it out at this point. You can take it right out. And I'm just going to be pinning all of it together so that there shouldn't be anything requiring the safety pin. But as I said, if you have a barrette or like any kind of, not necessarily a hair clip, but even a fancy hair elastic or anything like that that you think won't look, or even brooches, it makes a really neat finish at the back. So you can actually use your brooches for more than just your hijab scarves for the front, but like in this case you can even use it at the very end to look just neat at the back of your head somehow. So that's the style. It's actually much easier than it looks. The better part is just, again, like the tricky part will probably be just pinning edges so that it looks very neat. The front is the part that you want it to look narrower somehow. Like, it's going to make a huge difference. Now, if the plainer the scarf you're using, the better you'll be able to see the details. So the fact that there is no braid here and a braid there is going to be totally distinguishable when you start doing it with darker colors. The more pattern, the less you can tell. So if you have a scarf that has a lot of patterns, it's going to be a little bit harder to see the details and the neat braid at the top. So it's just good for you to keep that in mind when you're choosing the scarf to do this style with. But it's just a very fun style. As you can see, I'll probably be wearing it, as I said, with my collar in rather than out like this. The neater the lines, the better in this case. So yeah, I hope you guys have fun. I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you keep wearing it out and have a good time with it. Because have fun. Really, have fun. Alright, peace and blessing, everybody.